Yo, what's up, guys? Everyone, today, man, I'll be talking about the Warriors and the Timberwolves series. No, off the bat, first off the rip, my prediction: Timberwolves in 6. The outcome: Timberwolves in 5. Now, I want to give all the credit in the world to the Minnesota Timberwolves. First off, being the Lakers were a really hyped up team, and they had maybe the third or fourth best odds to win the NBA Finals, and you beat them in a resounding 5 games. Like, that was phenomenal. But obviously this round, game 1, second half, Steph Curry does end up missing, and you can really see the imprint that he left. It left a gigantic hole that even Jimmy Butler himself couldn't really mask, or Buddy Hield or guys together couldn't really mask. Like, he's just an immense talent. You can't really replicate his production. You can't really try to maneuver a way to get that same production because it's Steph Curry, And again, I have all due respect for the Timberwolves, but they just weren't going to guard Curry like how the Rockets did with like a Man Thompson and the Dylan Brookses of the world, and this and that and that. It's just a lot of guys consistently throwing them. You got length. You go maybe some Tari Eason, maybe some Jabari Smith Jr., maybe some of this, maybe some of that. I put some Fred VanVleet. It's just a lot of bodies to throw. Timberwolves could really, you could obviously look for the Gobert switch, which we saw he held his own a really good amount on in that Lakers series against the Lakers' big three of LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves, who had an abysmal playoffs run. But no, it didn't. I don't feel like they really just forced that switch. So Jay McDaniels was supposed to be the primary defender on Stephen Curry. We really only saw game 1, so we didn't know what the true outcome was going to be. And then you obviously expect him to Nick Alexander Walker. Probably trying to get some switches like the Lakers did again. Nas Reed into some actions. But overall, again, just it was tough for the Warriors. But that's not taking anything away from the Minnesota Timberwolves. I still think that they would win this series. Maybe it would have been like a 7-gamer. But what I saw against the Lakers, what I just saw the Warriors do go up 3-1 and then lose back-to-back, and then have a Buddy Hield legacy game in Game 7 to send them to the next round. They were out of breath. This is an older team. You can't really go to 7 with an older team. Less than 48 hours to go, you're already there. Like, no, man, that's just tough. And then a fully healthy team, Game 5, they got their W out the way. Like, no, man, that is just tough. That is just straight up tough. So start off with the Minnesota Timberwolves, okay? Just from the beginning. They had 31 first half points. They have 30. Yeah. They struggled, I believe, in the first. I believe so, right? They had 31 points in the first half of Game 1. They really, really struggled. That was when Golden State was up. And I'm like, ugh. Y'all know that meme? His eyes just open like, wow. 31 first half points, brother. Jesus Christ. And then obviously Curry missed the whole entire second half of the game, but they still end up winning that game even without Steph Curry because they built such an immense lead. You had Jimmy Butler step up and other guys as well. The Timberwolves hit their first 3 in the first game with 8 and some change left in the third quarter of Game 1. Their first 3 of the game. I think it was like a Nas Reed 3 from like either the right wing or above the break. Maybe right wing above the break. One of the two. Nas Reed a phenomenal game in Game 1. He really tried to will them to victory. It just did not happen. And Ant had a disaster class in Game 1. He shot another tour date, I want to give a lot of credit to the Warriors defense, but also Ant just missed shots that he normally would have hit, which is like, Ant, man, what are you doing? Ant had a very on and off series. He had his moments, he was clutching up. And at points he was shooting tour dates. It's tough, but it is what it is at the end of the day. There see today him with Luka Luca with the orange wristband pulled up to the game. Ant had a pretty solid start. I feel like the second half I didn't see too much of the Ant. There's some bits and pieces, some spurts. It wasn't a full Ant masterclass game, if you know what I'm saying. And then first half, Randle in Game 2 was also really, really. Randle has officially beaten the playoff dropout allegations. Obviously, was the conference finals is gonna, it's gonna really, really, really see what Randall was talking about. But Timberwolves as well. Second consecutive season in a row making the Western Conference Finals from what was it, 01 or 02 or maybe like 03, 04 to 2021. They had one playoff series, and that was the Jimmy Butler 76ers team with Andrew Wiggins, Karl Anthony Towns, and I believe baby Jeff Teague is on that team as well. But yeah, he was amazing. He was also amazing as well. Game 2, Nah. Now, Nah didn't really have the offensive game outside of that game that you really were expecting out of him. But overall, defensively, he definitely held his own. But a lot of just like airball threes from the corners. It's, missed layups, missed free throws. Like, Nah got to pick it up. Remember, Nah's in a contract season. Nah needs to get in his bag. Timberwolves have that 8-man rotation. They have starting 5. Then you have Nah. Then you have Nas Reed. And then you have DiVincenzo. They really have an 8-man rotation, So they really, really, really got to be on their P's and Q's. You feel what I'm saying? Second half and Game 3 stepped up, though. And unfortunately, I did miss Game 4. But, I mean, it was for a valid reason, though. I'm in New England. I live in New England. I had to pop out to the Kendrick Lamar and SZA concert. It was a vibe. I'll put a clip up here, but it was a vibe, man. It was a vibe, my first ever concert, popped out with my sister, it was a vibe. Hey, man, I can have an off day every so often. Come on. A man can live, a 22-year-old man can live. Come on now. My fault. I didn't catch Game 4. My fault, man. Y'all can see the clip right here, though. Now on to the Warriors. Curry being out, that sucked. Like, really, 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 really sucked. But you couldn't win a singular game for the greatest player in your franchise, one of the greatest players of all time, the greatest shooter, arguably the greatest point guard of all time, one of the top 10 greatest players of all time. You couldn't win a singular game for him to come back for Game 6 and at least give you a somewhat of a chance. Maybe if it is just pure delusion, you can't give him a single game. Me uncork, take a deep breath, start from the top. Draymond Green had a legacy first half in Game 1. I really like what I saw from Draymond today too. He had a couple of threes early on. I believe he had like back-to-back threes. I feel like he had a pretty good offensive performance with Draymond Green's standards. Curry being out for the second half of Game 1 was awful. He was ruled out for games 2, 3, 4, 5 instantly. He's going to be reevaluated. Let's say they win today's game or another game before losing tonight. It's not 100% chance that he would have played. It's like more of like a reevaluation to see if he could, because he still wasn't being mobile. He wasn't running. He wasn't sprinting. He has to be cleared. He was doing 8 hours of treatment every single day. So he wasn't like, I don't know if he would have made it to Game 6. Maybe that's like a Game 7 or somehow if they move on to the WCF. Maybe it's like, I don't even know. I'm just yapping at this point. But yeah, that was tough. And they had a really good performance from Buddy Hield in the second half of Game 1. That was really, really, really massive to make sure that they kept that lead. In the clutch, he had a couple of threes. Playoff Jimmy, he had that one game. I know he has that broken pelvis, which I guess is in its, I'm going to be respectful, his glutamus maximus, his behind. So not too much on Jimmy, but as a Heat fan, I don't love or hate Jimmy, but I'm not paying that brother 60 M's a year. I'm sorry, my brother. That's not happening. So call it a hate watch, call it this, call it that. It is what it is at the end of the day. I still observe, I still mess with bro, but I'm not like defending him to the depths of hell like my life depends on it. Like, it's just not happening. But all I gotta say is this is the type of roster that he has currently that he would have been this only guy to really try to uplift and carry that team. I mean, he still has also caliber players like Bam Adebayo until I hear, but this ain't a Heat video. On to the next one. Just saying. Kuminga definitely earned himself a lot of money this series, from DMP CDs. But before that, turning down $30 million a season. But he had a really good performance at the end off the series. I think he'll get somewhere in the maybe like $15 to $20 million range for like anywhere from like a 1 to 3 year deal. I don't think he's coming back with the Golden State Warriors though. I just don't feel like him and Curry mesh all the way. Curry mentioned how he turned down Curry and he looked him down, and they just don't have an immense amount of chemistry and things of that nature. Yeah, and then at the point in that game too, they had a lineup of Pods, Kevin Knox, Buddy Hield, Draymond, and TJD. Like, what the fuck is that smell? Kuminga was really good in game 3 though. But they also had no first half threes in game 6. I mean, they had no first half threes in game 3. The Golden State Warriors win a single game without a 3 in the first half. Not a single game, but a single half, which is absolutely insane. Jimmy and Kuminga had a legacy game in game 3, but they end up losing that game. Want to see a little bit more from Jimmy, especially in that late fourth quarter. Kuminga hit a magnet, he hit a layup as well. Need to see some more to Jimmy. He felt like he was really passive this series, you know. As usual, regular season faster for Jimmy Butler, but you don't really see this in the playoffs, you know. He's always on 100, so maybe it is that gluteus maximus and that broken pelvis really getting to him. So, hey, I'm just saying at the end of the day. Draymond fouled out in the fourth with 4:30 left in game 4. I mean, in game 3, because again, I missed game 4. And then today in game 5, Paz had a really good game. Kuminga had some moments. Jimmy, I think, was overall underwhelming. A lot of passing out of shots. Try to say something out of Quinn and Post. It didn't work out. Barely saw any GP2. This might be the end of GP2. This might be the end of... You just need some centers. Y'all need to get a starting and backup center. I mean, maybe you could talk yourself into TJD being a backup or Looney or something like that. But at the very least, get you a starting center. Get you a starting center. It's going to be tough because it's going to have to be some guy that maybe... Get that man Yannick. I'm not going to lie. I just found out about this guy Yannick from Penn State. Bro, there's a combination between like Khalil Ware and Derek Lively II. Just can block shots. I saw him dribbling the ball a little bit, you know. Athletic. Getting up high. Yeah. Hey, Warriors. I'm just saying though. Yeah, positive, really good game 5. Moody overall in the series, you know, at the end, he had a couple of good shots, and then he missed a layup, and then he hit a 3. Overall, this series, I believe, Moses Moody shot 5 of 23. He went from starting the first 3 games of the series against the Rockets, being benched, DNPCD, got benched his whole entire first half, comes into the fourth quarter, has a little spurt overall, but obviously was not enough. So, yeah, shout out to the Timberwolves. Y'all end up winning in 5 games. Sad for Curry, you know, for the Warriors fans, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. At the end of the day, injured at the worst possible time. It sucks. The guy's 37 years old, and this is an older team. This is gonna be a different team next season. There's just no way that if you're running it back with the same exact team, make the big blockbuster deal to get Jimmy Butler. It obviously ended up working out for y'all. You end up making it to the play-in, you know, 7 seed. Could have been the Clippers and been the 6 seed and faced the could have been the 5th seed and faced the 4th seed Denver Nuggets, but it wasn't that at the end of the day. So, yeah, shout out to Timberwolves back-to-back years, make it to the Western Conference Finals. Let's see if it's the Thunder can close it out, can stay on the East Coast against the Nuggets. Hopefully, the Nuggets can extend their season and go on to Game 7 in OKC, as the game tonight is going to be in Denver. So, I think the last game was in OKC, then we'll go Denver, then we'll go OKC. Yeah. Yeah, shout out to the Timberwolves, and yeah. Other than that, y'all, that is the video. So go down below, drop a like, comment down below, sub up, make sure to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok. It's been your boy John. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and I'm out, man. Peace.